There we are.
There
Hello.
we are. Hello, hello.
Oh my goodness, technology. I've had a few glitches, just personal stuff that I'm like, ooh, didn't push the right button. So every time I go on here, I'm like, okay.
I'm truly just so grateful every time everything works. So you're not alone in that.
So hello and welcome to Redefining the Significance of You Time for You, by you, because of you. My name is Denise Drinkwalter, and I'm an empowerment life coach supporting women around the world to lean into and realize the importance of you. The goal of this channel is to provide you, the viewer, some takeaways that will help you shift, change, reevaluate, become more aware of what is truly possible. We have a variety of incredible guests who are sharing their life experiences that have helped them become the incredible human beings that they are today. Every one of us, sometime in our lives, have had that infamous free time, where we frequently feel guilty for taking any time for ourselves. We are here to change that. We are here to support you to see what is possible when you actually take time for yourself, for you, by you, because of you. I am so honored to have our special guest today, Naomi Harris. Naomi is a naturopath who spent years in pain, not understanding her own body and why she was experiencing such excruciating pain, spasms that she experienced in her pelvis following intimacy. She knew this was not the way she wanted to continue to live her life, and her personal healing and understanding of the female body in new and profound ways brought her to a new focus and opportunity. Naomi has helped hundreds of women over the past 8 years, supporting them with self-worth, self-love, and sexuality. She helps women heal from the inside out, live life on their own terms, confident and fierce in their self-love. I am so thrilled to have you here today. I know this is a topic that I didn't honestly realize was even out there. And
Yeah.
when Naomi and I met, I was like, what? Women are suffering. And when I think of the changes in midlife years,
Mm.
hand up, I had no clue what the heck was going on. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even have the foresight to find out what was happening. I just,
Mm.
must have eaten something wrong for how many years? Like, seriously,
Yep.
Denise, like, come
Yep.
on,
Yep.
right? So tell us a little bit about all that you actually do so that our
Yeah.
audience has a clearer picture of
Yep.
who you support.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Denise. It's so delightful to be sharing a screen with you as well. Thank you. So like you said, my background is alternative health, and I've been working in this field for 1.5 decades or more. But it took me up until about halfway through this career, this journey, to start to really notice what was going on with women's bodies and to actually be honest with myself about what was going on with mine. So what you just read out about my story is true. And in a way, I'm one of the lucky ones with pelvic and sexual pain, because my pain would only flare up following orgasm or following intimacy, or like there's a few other triggers for my flare-ups, but it wasn't ongoing debilitating pain, which is actually the reality of a lot of women's lives. Ongoing debilitating genital or pelvic pain. They say 70% of women one time in their life or more, and up to around 30 to 40% of women may be experiencing chronic ongoing pain. It's one of those things that doesn't get talked about, so the numbers are a little bit vague. People are guessing because there's so much shame and secrecy around it. But this is now my mission. This is now the work that I do, is supporting women with pain situations. It's not just inhibiting pleasure and sexuality and intimacy. It actually impacts your entire sense of being, your entire life, everything about you. And yeah, so that's the people that I'm helping.
Yeah. I what you said there, it impacts daily living.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's nothing that we don't talk about it, right?
No.
It's like, no. This is your private life. This is what you do over
Yep.
here.
Yep.
But how are you ever going to get support if you don't know, or you're
No.
too embarrassed to, and you think like I did, oh, well, I don't know what's going on, but I was too busy. I was
Yes,
too
of
busy,
course.
right?
Yes.
I put myself on the back burner, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because everybody else, like I had a lot on my plate. I had a job. It was very taxing. I loved it, but it was
Mhm.
very challenging. I
Mhm.
had make sure my kids were all okay, because when they had rough days, it was my role to step in and help, right? So yeah, I have this little thing, but it only, for me, it would only flare up a little bit, not to the intensity you're speaking of with
Yeah.
some women who are suffering.
Yes. Yes. Genuine suffering, suffering to the point of, you know, having to choose their clothes for the day depending on how much pressure they can take on their skin, or genuinely like not being able to get out of bed, or like going, well, I've probably got an hour upright. I'm going to have to make that hour count. And the other reality is, and like you said, you know, there is so much shame and there's so much silence around it, but we're also subtly or directly and overtly taught as women that sex will hurt. At least the first time it's going to hurt. It's not true. All of you all listening, that's not true. Sex doesn't need to and actually isn't supposed to hurt even the first time. But there becomes this kind of experience of going, oh, I just had sex and it hurt, but maybe that's what's supposed to happen. And maybe it's me. And maybe it's something that
Mm,
I did. And so I'm not going to talk about it. And then the unfortunate reality also is often going to see medical professionals and being dismissed about your
right.
pain as a woman. That's a really, really common and very sad story that I'm constantly hearing is, you know, they say on average for a woman with a chronic ongoing pelvic condition, it takes up to 9 different doctors or specialists to finally get a diagnosis that works, that can be worked with. So there's so many gaps. There's so many places that we can fall through the cracks if we even dare to speak up in the
Right.
first place. And then we have to overcome this mental programming of, oh, this is just what's supposed to happen anyway.
Right. Right. So what type of a journey do you take, in general terms, your clients through when they
Yeah.
contact you and say, can you help me? Do
Yes.
I need to be helped, right? Like, or
Yes.
is this something I should live with? How could you give us a sense of what that would look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I'm going to say is what I don't do, and I'm going to describe what the
Mm,
current reality is generally in the medical profession, which is if you have pain in your genitals or sexual pain, depending on if it's on the outside or the inside of your body, if it's a skin-based or a muscle-based pain, you were likely to get prescribed some kind of antidepressant, which actually impacts the pain receptors, but also the pleasure receptors, of course, the nerve endings in your genitals. Or you get given numbing creams so that you can't feel what's happening. Or if it is a internal muscular situation, you may be prescribed things to help your body open itself up, which can actually be excruciatingly painful and quite debilitating. And a lot of women start with those and give them up because the way that they're taught to use them isn't supportive, and there isn't any real understanding of what's going on and why and what the body is trying to communicate with the pain.
mm,
So if you reach out to me and you say, I
mhm.
have pain in my genitals, the first thing to know is pain is never there for no reason. And when I say pain, I'm also talking about itching and burning,
Mm,
throbbing,
yeah,
swelling, redness, you know, like the whole spectrum of what can be happening. It's never there for no reason. Like our bodies are really intelligent and they don't waste energy and they don't waste symptoms. So if there's something happening in our bodies, it's our bodies saying, we need attention here. There's something going on that's really out of whack, like it's out of alignment. And so then the big journey becomes let's work out what's actually happening. Let's work out what your body's trying to tell you. Let's work out where the different drivers are coming in to keep your nervous system on high alert, for your body not to think that it's safe, for your body to be saying to you very clearly, I don't want anybody near my genitals. There's something with my sexuality that's out of balance. And actually really understand as a person what this body is trying to say, so that as you can unpack that and you get to like the causes of the pain, you can clear those up, so you don't have to be medicated for the rest of your life or constantly worried that the pain's going to come back.
Right.
You have this new understanding of your body. And, you know, for example, for the women that I know that you work with, Denise, coming into perimenopause, menopause, that time of life, there may, of course, be the hormonal aspect of it as well. But more than that, it's also, you know, this perimenopause, menopause time is like, it's the reflection and it's the recalibration and it's the setting back on your path in the direction you're going to take for the rest of your life. And so for some women and for some women's bodies, they're like, oh, the last 50 years haven't really worked out and we need to change some things, and we need to change them in the way that we're approaching life in our bodies, in our sexuality, in our relationships with ourselves. And it becomes this whole package of doing the practical work to get rid of the pain and doing the internal work to understand why, so that we don't have to have that fear of it coming back all the time.
I love what you're saying. The mind-body connection is what I'm hearing, and understanding at a new level that these messages are there to help us grow and learn and understand through, right?
Yes.
So understanding the symptomatology, but getting even deeper in terms of how is that in your body, because my body will be different than Susie's body, than Sarah's body, than, you know, Patricia's, right?
Yes.
Because of I am me. There's only one of me. Many people would say, that's good, Denise. That's a good thing, right? Really, now, do you find that people reach out to you and they're at their wit's end, or are you finding that there are more people who are now becoming more aware and searching out and being a little more proactive? Is there anything you're finding?
So with pelvic and genital pain conditions for women, or for women's bodies, there's a couple of different kinds. There's the kind that's painful all the time or comes and goes, but it's painful and there seems to be no reason for it. And then there's the kind that gets triggered and flares up when there's the attempt for sexual intimacy or penetration. So if it's the kind that only gets triggered and then we have a flare up, that one is easy to ignore and put on the back burner until you start to go, oh, it's been years now and I think I'm ready for a relationship, and maybe I'm ready for a family, and maybe I'm ready to explore that piece of my life.
Right.
And so for those people that reach out to me, I find it's actually often, it's a longer term condition, not always, but often, because, well, first of all, because it can be ignored, but second of all, because it's so deeply confusing and nobody really understands what's happening until they understand what's happening. And so not even knowing where to reach out for help, or is this just normal that this happens, or, you know, that whole picture. But then for the people who have this kind of ongoing pain, whether it's inside or outside their bodies, that's really debilitating and really impacting life, that seems to be not quite as long-term. For some, definitely, but not always, because the impact on life can be so profound that the motivators and the drive to do something about it can come around a little bit earlier.
Sure. Yeah. When you shared there, you know, there's the differences that exist, and that helps decide kind of the path. There's written in stone, obviously,
yes,
right? It depends on your client and what their needs are and success rate. Do you find once the goal has been met in terms of seeing yourself in a brand new way, living life differently, do you find that is that new path that happens, they stay there and they don't fall back? Do you find generally that's what happens? This is course correction based on you, yeah?
So it's a really good question, because it's one of the things, I think, for any of us that have had a long-term condition or a chronic condition, or even not long-term, but really impactful on our health, there's always that underlying fear of it's going to come back. I'm going to get rid of the symptoms and then it's going to come back. And for many women, unfortunately, they may have tried something out and then they've had 3 months of relief and then they've thought that it's all over and then it has come back. So there's already that idea that's being planted. Yeah. So the way that I work and what I say to my clients is, you're going to leave working with me. We're going to finish up working with me, and you're going to actually understand yourself. And you're going to understand, even if you don't understand exactly, you'll understand the drivers and you'll understand what may be happening, so that if there is a flare-up, if something comes back, yes, you've got the tools and you know what to do about it, but you've also got the tools to unpack it and get really clear on what might be happening, so that you're not kind of a victim to it anymore, but you can actually work with it and play with it and see what's possible.
Love that.
So, for example, I have one client and she finished up with me actually probably going on 3 months ago. That went quick. Every now and then she'll message me and she'll go, my pain's just come back. And I'll message her back and go, did you talk to it? And then 5 minutes later, she'll message me and go, okay, it's gone now. And I'm like, okay, all right. Sometimes we just need to be reminded that you have the tools in your toolkit.
Right.
But when the pain comes back, the immediate response is, oh my God, no, not again, not again. It's okay. Take a breath, drop in, see what's going on, do what needs to be done. And then it's, absolutely.
The power, right? The power that we have, and we don't even tap into it until we are able to see. And once we witness what we can do, and we've been on the path of the other direction for so long, it's almost like a pathway that's already, you know how they're deer and they create the path, and that's like it's already set.
Yeah.
Making these new pathways sometimes just a simple reminder. I love that. I love that. And I love the fact that you're just on the other end. Oh, you've got this. Remember, just one question rewrites the script for them. I love it. That's right. Yeah. Giving them the power. And that's where it needs to lie, right?
100%. Yes.
That confidence, that taking your power back.
Yes.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Yes.
What is, from your perspective, what is one thing you would tell our audience listeners that you think is a key piece if they are struggling with either momentary or consistent pain in this area? So
one thing that I would say across the board, for anybody, no matter where the pain's coming from, whether it's nerve pain, muscle pain, like whatever the situation is, and the place that I always start with my clients is learning how to breathe, because most of us don't breathe correctly. Most of us are breathing as if we're running away from lions all the time, and life is a lion. And because we're breathing in that way, we're telling our bodies constantly our body isn't safe. It needs to be on alert, and therefore we can't fully relax. And we think we're relaxed, but we're not relaxed. And that goes for our muscles, that goes for our minds, that goes for our nervous system, everything. And so whether you do yoga and you know how to breathe, or whether you're doing other practices and you know how to breathe, or you have no idea at all how to breathe, learning how to breathe into your belly as an ongoing practice in a relaxed way, where it actually lets your body know that it's safe and it can just be, is really, really important for any healing that's possible. Because if our bodies aren't safe, and if our bodies are running away from lions, they're not safe. If we're stressed, we're not safe. There can be no healing on any, not really deep, profound healing on any level. And so it seems really simple. And every time I say it, I'm like, oh, it's so simple that it's one of those ones that I'm a bit like, but it's so profound. You know, I've had at least 2 clients that I can think of that had a 1-hour session with me only, and I taught them how to breathe, and they went away and they had no more pain. Like, that's the power of breath.
Power.
And that's why I'm so, just learn to breathe, learn to breathe.
Yeah. I love that. Is it truly possible, like truly possible, for all women to heal this pain, this genital sexual pain? Is it truly possible?
I truly believe that it is. I genuinely believe that it is. I think for some women, the unpacking and the journey to health may take longer, and it may be a little bit more of a winding road, and there may need to be different interventions coming in and different self-learnings. But I believe it's our birthright to live in bodies that actually feel good to be in, and finding our way back there. Absolutely. Yes.
I love that. It's your birthright.
Yeah.
To live a life full of pleasure and happiness every single day, right? Like, it just is. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Claim your birthright.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes.
Where can people find you? I believe you have a website, right? Called go ahead.
I do have a website called thepleasurenaturopath.com.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people can find me on Instagram at Naomi Harris ND is another place to find me. That's probably the 2 easiest ways to get in contact. Yes.
Perfect. We will put those in the show notes
Beautiful.
as well.
That's great. Thank you, Denise.
I'm not sure how quick those show notes will be put in, simply because I'm doing a little bit of this myself right now, because my assistant is not well. So we'll get it up as soon as possible, I promise. Thank you so much for being here and having such a gentle, calm conversation on a topic that needs to have more visibility and limelight to help support women to live their best life inside and out. So thank you for the work you do. You are a gift, and please reach out to Naomi. She is available. She would love to support you in any way, shape, or form. Right?
Yeah. Thank you, Denise. It's been such a privilege to chat. Really enjoyed it.
So great to have you. If you have not been involved in my world, I do have a newsletter that you would be interested to sign up for. I put 2 newsletters out a week, giving tips and tricks to help moms who might be struggling with adult children. I also have a private Facebook group. Just send me a message and we will get you in there. And we go live every Tuesday here on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I'm me. I do me. I'm Denise Drinkwalter, an empowerment life coach. And we wish all of you a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Take care.